Alright guys, so we are back with part 2 of this video, messing with this Cummins Onan generator again. So if you guys saw my first initial video, I relocated the fuel pump from buried deep inside where the generator is to outside of the actual generator. It's still in this housing here, which did help. However, instead of it dying in about 1 to 2 hours, it basically started surging, and I had vapor lock issues, which a lot of people have the same issues that I've been having. Instead of it taking 1 to 2 hours, it took more like 7 to 8 hours. So I think we're on the right track with that. So what I think I'm going to do today is I'm going to relocate this unit completely outside of where the generator is. I spoke with a buddy of mine who owns an RV dealership. He also owns an RV service shop. It's kind of all one together. And he said what they typically do is they'll take the fuel pump and they'll locate it underneath the camper. So it's completely outside of where the generator is. It is not affected by the heat. Also, it's obviously underneath. So it's not having to draw fuel from the back all the way up and then push it up through the front. My thing was I was going to locate the fuel pump all the way towards the back where the fuel tank is, but after speaking with him briefly, he said that what they typically do, like I said, is they just put it underneath, and it kind of gets it more relative as far as where it is with the fuel tank. So instead of having it be above the fuel tank, it's kind of level with the fuel tank. Some people were saying if you can get it below the fuel tank is even better. So we're going to try that today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fuel pump, and I got some extra fuel line and some fuel line connectors. We're basically just going to relocate this fuel pump underneath the entire camper, and hopefully that will fix our issue. So let's get right into it, guys. All right, so I'm just going to start disconnecting the old fuel pump, getting that ready to come out. I'm going to have to fish this wire down through. It's got some silicone sealant right here, so I'll have to razor blade that out so I can shove this line down, since it's going to be tucked in down there. Oh man, thing's been on there for a minute. Let's get this one off. Alright guys, so we got the old fuel pump out. I actually ended up picking up another fuel pump, because I've heard that sometimes the aftermarket fuel pumps, sometimes they're just bad out the box. So I'm going to put a new fuel pump on, same fuel filter. I blew air through this. It's got plenty of flow, so it's not clogged up or anything. I've got the fuel line that was coming up out of here. I sent that down from the tank, and then I'm going to be adding fuel line to this line that comes off the carburetor to go to the other side of the fuel pump as well. And then just have to add a little bit of wiring on to the existing fuel pump wiring, because that's going to go down as well to this fuel pump. It's literally just going to get mounted like this, just underneath here, and that'll keep it completely out of this compartment, keep it away from the heat. It'll be nice and cool underneath the camper with airflow, and it'll be in parallel with the fuel tank as well. So let's get that done. Alrighty, so this is pretty much what we have, guys. I've got the fuel line ran down through here. Like I said, I extended out this wire for the fuel pump down here, just soldered it, shrink wrapped it. It's running down through here, through this rubber grommet, so everything's insulated. I put the insulation wrap back on the wire there. This is still insulated. I might do another wrap of this just to keep this fuel line cool. And I'll show you underneath. This is not like the permanent place for it, but pretty much where it's going to stay is there. I had to do a self-tapper from underneath because I don't have anybody here to hold this up while I self-tap from the top. But for now, I just really wanted it to stay in place. We got the wires running there, power ground. We've got the fuel line here that is coming from the tank, going to the inside through the filter. And then this is the fuel line coming out, and that is going up to the carburetor. So we are about to fire this thing up. It's been a while since I've actually ran this. I've just had it hooked up to my RV plug on the side of my house, but I had to run this fuel line through a new hole. I didn't have enough slack on the hose, so I just made a new hole there. I have the fuel cap kind of cracked open as well, just to prevent any kind of, vapor lock or vacuum lock, whatever, in the fuel tank. So yeah, so now I guess we're just going to go ahead and start it up. We're going to let it run, and see if it runs and, you know, doesn't have any stalling or surging. It's about 91 degrees out. We're in Florida right now, so if there is any problems, I'm sure we'll be able to tell in just a couple hours. So, because it's not cold, that's usually when it does it the worst, when it's hot. So yeah, let's go ahead and fire her up. Let's hit prime. Get her primed up. It's probably gonna be some moisture through there. All right. Hopefully we got most of the air out. Let's see if... Wow, fired right up. Make sure we don't have any leaks. I'm gonna put this cover back on too. We're supposed to run it with that cover. Fuel pump's moving around. Again, I'm gonna put a second one through here once I get somebody to hold that for me while I screw it in place, but let's put this cover back on. So we got the cover back on. I'm going to shut this also. You're supposed to run it like this. This way it gets the best airflow. And right now it is 4 o'clock, 4:05 p.m. to be exact. And yeah, we're just going to let it run and see what happens. All right, it is currently 6:15. It's been running for a little over 2 hours now. And we're still running smooth. Hasn't missed a beat. It's pretty hot in here, but this is nice and cool. Not cool, but not hot. Close that back up. So far, so good. All right, guys, so I don't have my watch on me, but it is 8:15. This has been running since 4:05, so a little over 4 hours now. And it's cooled down some, but we're still at 82 degrees. And the AC is on. It's been running. I've had it under a load just to really put the strain on the generator and make it run in the, you know, the hardest conditions it possibly can, and it's still running. So I'm gonna check back around 10 or 11 o'clock and we'll see if she's still running. All right, guys, so we are now approaching 10 o'clock. It is 9:50 at night, and she's still going strong. It's got about just a little over a quarter tank of gas, so I don't know how much longer I'm gonna run it. I know once it gets below a quarter, I don't really want to run it so low on gas. So tomorrow I'll probably have to get gas, but I'm gonna let it run for another probably hour or two, and probably gonna call that a success, especially with, you know, how hot it is. It's still like 82 right now, even at night, just humid and hot in Florida, and she's still running. So we'll do one more update in a couple hours and see how she's doing. All right, guys, so it is now 11:08 and we are still running. Fuel is starting to get a little bit low. I'm just under a quarter tank now, so I don't want to run it for too long without too much fuel in it, but I think this is probably, I'm gonna call this a success. It's never really ran this long before, not in the heat. It's ran for like 6 or 7 hours in the cold, but it was hot today. Like I said, it was in the 90s, and it's still down in the low 80s right now because it's Florida, so it's hot even at night. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on this, but this seems to have fixed it. So thank you guys for watching. As always, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.